Hey, it's Kobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this video breakdown, I'm going to take a look at a play out of the dime 2-3 that's going to allow you to get a 5-man pass rush or a 4-man pass rush, and also have some nice pass coverage behind the blitz. The name of the play that we use for this video breakdown is the dime 2-3 Tampa 2. Here's the playbooks you can find this play out of. Before I actually show the two blitz setups here out at dime 2-3 Tampa 2, let's take a look at the default pass coverages and pass rush assignments. Now with this defense, you actually end up getting 7 defenders dropping back into zone coverage. You got these 2 safeties that are playing 2 deep. And then you got these 2 outside defenders right here. As you look at your screen right there, they're going to be playing the cloud flats, which are going to be the 2 corners. And then to the inside of them, you got these 3 defenders here. You got 2 of them playing curls, and the one over the middle right there is going to be playing the mid read. And then also you have a 4-man pass rush, as you can see on your screen. So you're really relying on just these 4 guys to get as far as getting to the quarterback. Now, as I said earlier in the intro, you can either make this a 5-man pass rush or you can make it a 4-man pass rush. And that's what I'm going to show you next. The first blitz setup that we want to show out at dime 2-3 Tampa 2 is going to be a 5-man pass rush. Now, I can tell you there are going to be some holes in the defense, but it does bring some pressure on the quarterback, specifically from this defender right here, which actually happens to be a safety. And what he's going to do here is he's actually going to blitz through the B gap, and he's going to apply the pressure on the quarterback as you look at it. Now, the idea of this is to create a big enough gap for him to blitz through, and that's what I want to show you how to do. So let's go through this real quick as you look at it. The first thing you're going to do is shift the defensive line to the left. Next, you want to call QB contain. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take control of that defender, that safety right there. You want to blitz him, such as you see on your screen. And then you're going to take control of this defender right here, the one that I'm in control of, and then you're going to move him down into, I don't know, I've got him right across as you look at this point. I've got him right across from the right tackle. And what you want to do with him is you're going to want to engage. You're going to want to let him come up a couple yards. And then what you want to do is you want to drop him back into pass coverage into that area there. Now, you should also have this guy over here dropping back into coverage. And as I said before, you're going to have this guy blitz. And by the way, with this guy right here, the one that you blitz, you can either take control of him and blitz him, hot route him to blitz and then switch off to the next defender, or you can press on the D-pad there to the right and then press down on the right stick, and that'll get him to blitz. He's the only linebacker. Technically, he's a safety, but he would be the only one that would actually blitz. So that's the way to do it as far as getting that set up. So let's go ahead and continue through this. And as you watch it, we're going to end up getting that pressure on the quarterback right there as he comes through. And then you see me drop back. Now, there's going to be some coverage issues. Let's run this again and take a look at it again. Same thing. Shift the defensive line to the left. Put the defenders into QB contain. These 2 guys on the outside, which I talked about earlier, as something you might want to do is the reason that you'd put these in the QB contain would be just to make sure the quarterback didn't roll out, at least try to prevent the quarterback from rolling out. Because what you want, the ideal here is you really want him to stay in the pocket so he's going to get sacked. So that's the reason you do that with a QB contain. And I talked about this guy when I did the setup just a couple seconds ago here. We talked about hot routing this guy into a blitz, which you can see on your screen. So you're going to hot route him into a blitz. And then you're going to take control of this defender right here, which is the one I'm in control of. You're going to re-hot route him to blitz. And then you're going to bring him up a couple yards up, just somewhere in that area there, and then you're simply going to drop him back into pass coverage. All right, now at this point, I'm going to rewind this a little. I'm going to rerun this one more time so we can see something here. And you'll see what I mean here as you watch it. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we want to do here is I want to look at the pass coverages, and I want to show you there are some holes with this setup. Remember, this is a 5-man pass rush. I want you guys to understand that. And the middle of the field is going to be wide open. So this might be something, if your opponent's hitting you with some corner routes, maybe they only got 1 defender or 1 receiver going over the middle. You see that a lot. Maybe you get away with this a little bit more. But as you can see here, right there is a lot of people open here as you look at it. Even though the quarterback does get sacked, if I was to rewind this just a little bit, you can see right here, he's got some options. He could throw it over in this direction here as you look at it. He's got that guy open. He's got another guy somewhere down this area. Anyway, you can see all the guys that are open here. So I just want to point that out to you. Now, I could have tried to defend 2 of those routes by maybe going off. Maybe I could have done this rather than going this direction here. Maybe what I could have done was go more into this area here and try to take some more routes away over there. Don't forget, you can also shade this defense down, which would have helped. So if you would have, shade underneath, that would have helped take that away. So that's something you might consider doing. But at any rate, there's the pressure. We get to the quarterback. Now, the other thing I did want to show here is I rewind it again. What really makes this play work is the way that this defender right here pass rushes to the inside here. This defensive tackle, as you look at it, he's going to take this away. By him rushing to the inside, it's going to force this guy right here, which is going to be this left guard, to go inside and look to block him to the inside. So that's what makes this blitz work as far as what that's concerned. So that's the one thing you're really looking for with this particular defense. I don't know how many other defenses actually do this within this formation, but I do know this one does a nice job of doing that. And you can see right there, that's how we get the pressure on the quarterback. All right, let's go on to the 4-man pass rush. This time I want to take a look at the 4-man pass rush out of the dime 2-3 Tampa 2. And this one's going to do a really nice job as far as getting to the quarterback, but it's also going to have some really nice pass coverages. Between the two of them I'm going to show here, this is probably the one that you're really going to be most interested in running. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's the same setup, but with one more adjustment. All right, let's go ahead and show you guys how to do this one as you look at your screen there. So it's the same thing as I pointed out earlier. You're going to shift the defensive line to the left. You're going to call QB contain. Then you also want to hot route that same defender, that safety, into a blitz. And then you're going to take control of this guy over to the right, and you're going to put him into a 3-receiver hook or a bluff blitz, and then take control of this defender right there, and you're going to re-hot route him to blitz. And there's your setup right there. Now watch as we come through there and get that same pressure. This time the pass coverages are better. We're going to take a look at that here in a second here as we go through this. We're going to go into the X and O's of the play and take a look at it. If you made it this far, hit the like button, subscribe, and get notified for our latest Madden Guides YouTube video breakdowns. From the All-22, we can get a better idea exactly how this play works in instant replay as far as the X and O's of the play. So let's take a look at the dime 2-3 Tampa 2 and kind of go through it in detail to show you exactly what I was trying to accomplish with this particular blitz setup. Now, as you know, the Tampa 2 is a defense that's actually supposed to have just a 4-man pass rush, and then it would have one defender dropping back into a deep middle right there as you look at it, and with these two guys splitting out as far as these two safeties. Now, the idea of that is to hopefully one of those 4 defenders get to the quarterback as far as those pass rushers. And then, of course, you're going to have a couple defenders playing the flats and a couple other defenders playing curls underneath. Now, what I wanted to do is kind of achieve that, but I knew that I wasn't going to be able to have that one defender dropping back in the deep middle. But what I could still do is still have a 4-man pass rush and still yet have a 7-man defenders dropping back into coverage. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now, the first thing you want to make sure you do with this setup is you want to make sure you shift the defensive line to the left. That's the first thing you're going to want to do. And the next thing you want to do is put these two guys in QB contain. Now, I realize this one right here that I'm highlighting, the second guy to the right there, he's actually not going to be in QB contain by the end of the setup, but I just want to point that out to you. So you still got to do it. So you're going to put this guy in QB contain right there. And then you also want to put this guy as well into QB contain. Now remember, he's actually going to go into a bluff blitz later on as we go through the setup. The next thing you want to do is you want to take control of this guy, or you can do it another way. You can press on the D-pad to the right, and then you can press down on the right stick, and that'll get him to blitz. Either way, you can take control of him and blitz him manually, or you can do it the other way, what I just talked about. So what he's going to do here is he's going to shoot through this B gap in between the left guard and left tackle, and then he's going to apply that pressure on the quarterback. So that's what we're looking to do right there. And then the next thing I talked about was putting this defender right here, the one I talked a little bit earlier about. Remember, he's in QB contain at this point, but you need to take control of him. And what you're going to do is you are going to put him into a bluff blitz. So what he's going to do initially is, or bluff blitz, he's going to go into this area here. And then what he's going to do is he's going to drop back into that area there. So that's going to give you another defender dropping back. And more or less what he's doing is he's replacing the blitzer here. That's the idea. The only difference is he's not dropping back over the deep middle. And then this guy right here, which is the one you're going to take control of. Now you're going to re-hot route him to blitz. Now you don't have to do that, but I find it's a lot more successful to do it that way rather than just bringing him up near the line of scrimmage. You're better off blitzing him because I think you're going to get a lot better chance. So at any rate, what you're going to do with him is you're going to allow him to go up 1 or 2 yards, and then you want to peel off and drop back into that area there to try to take away the stuff on that side of the field, especially if you've got a trips formation or a bunch formation to the right where you got 3 receivers. You want to definitely get over there as fast as you can. So that's it as far as with the setup, as far as getting that pressure on the quarterback. There is another key element to this, and that's going to be this guy right here. And what he's doing here is you look at your screen, what you're going to notice, he's going to slant to the inside. And that's going to make this guy right here, which is the left guard, look to block him. And then over here, as we look at it on the, continue on the left-hand side here, this guy, remember when I put in QB contain, there's a reason behind that. Outside, I want to keep the quarterback from rolling out. he's going to kind of take an outside pass rush angle. And then therefore this guy right here would have to block him to the outside. That's going to create a bigger gap for our blitzing defender to come through. Now, by the way, this blitzing defender is not a linebacker. What he is, he's actually going to be this guy right here. I'm going to show him to you right there. It's going to be Schooler. He's only a 66 overall, but I think he's like a 92 speed. I think he's second or third on the depth chart. I can't remember exactly where he's at, but he does have a lot of speed. So ideally, you would want to put someone there who's got a lot of speed at that position. Just saying. Most of you guys ought to already know that. I mean, I would hope so for you guys who have been playing Madden long enough. Even you guys that are new, speed still kills in Madden. It's killed since 1993, since I've been playing the game. So I don't really go through a lot as far as doing substitutions. I figure, again, I think I've talked about this in some of my videos before. I don't see the point in that. You guys should know better. You guys decide on who you guys want to put on the field. I can't tell you who to put on there. Maybe you got some other guy you just want to put on there. Don't care if he is only a 84 speed versus a 90 speed. You might want to leave that 84 speed on there for whatever reason. So I don't get too much into all the substitution. I think that's kind of a waste of time as far as videos go. But at any rate, that's the idea of that as far as what we're doing here. So as we look at it, you can see what I was talking about earlier, how this guy is slanting to the inside. This is what I was talking about right here. You can see this guy's taking that outside pass rush angle. And again, this is going to allow this guy to shoot through that B gap and apply that pressure to the quarterback. Now, as we go to the other side, as we focus, let's rewind it just a little bit here. This is the defender that I'm in control of, the one I was talking about. And I just need to let him take a step or two up. So he's going to go up a step, and then I'm going to drop him back into coverage. Step up, and then drop him back into coverage. At this point, you can see he's dropping back into this area here. So I got that pretty well covered. I've got that other receiver or other defender right there, dropping back into that area there. And we got this guy right here as you look at it deep down the field. Don't forget, you got these two guys that are playing the flats. They're playing, I believe, the squat flats, but you can also put them in the hard flats if you want to shade underneath. So that's some other things you can do right there. And if we go way deep down the field, you can see that these guys are playing the deep halves. So you can see right now at this point, the coverages are pretty tight for the most part. Now, our opponent could throw, if we were playing somebody right now, he could throw in this direction here and complete it. Wouldn't go for very much, but he could do that. Or he could throw it underneath right here to that guy right there. So those guys are open. There's going to be some open guys, but the pass rush is there. This guy's going to get home pretty quick, and which he does. Now, our opponent could roll the quarterback out. That's a possibility. But at any rate, we still get the sack. So at any rate, this play does a pretty nice job at bringing some pressure on the quarterback. Again, this defense is something you might take a look at, and keep this in mind. You don't have to set this up. You could just run it just like this, run it as it is, but not do all the adjustments I made, and just run it like it's by the stock defense and still have really nice, nice coverages down deep down the field and try to fool your opponent. So again, this one's called the Dime 2-3 Tampa 2. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment for more Madden guides, strategy, and tips content. See you in the next video.